Some say it's big, some say it's heavy. One of them are right. Stick around. Hello fellow vapors, Vaping Newbie here, and I hope everybody had a good Christmas. I certainly did. One of the gifts that I got actually arrived at my office from a friend on Facebook, and I thought, great Scott, what did I do to deserve this? And I thank him very, very much. He is still anonymous, and I won't say his name. But being a Scot, I like to get gifts, so thank you very much. No names. Okay, it is the Wismec Reuleaux RX200, and this I got to do this because I just got to mention something. I'm sorry about that. That was a 200 watt toot. Now that scares me. If you notice, I sort of pulled out of that real quick because I just did a dry hit at 200 watts and it hurt. Okay. Well, there's a bad edit there. Sorry about that, folks. This device, the Reuleaux RX200, came from Economy e-cigs. I'm going to put a link to their website down below because Wayne and Laura have a really good shop and their prices are very good. This particular device sells for about $79, I want to say, on their website. They have some really good hardware. They have some really good juices. Particularly the Rude Boy line. You're going to want to try that. And we're going to touch on a new flavor that just recently came out later on in this video, but it's primarily about the RX200. It comes in two, I don't like to say two flavors, but two colors. It comes in just a black, and then this sort of, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a green and white, and I really wanted this color because everything else I have is black. And you know what, folks, 3 18650 batteries. Wow. It wasn't that long ago that we thought, wow, the MVP2 came out, and I always think of the older vapors that, you know, all I had was that pen style, ego pen, you know, personal device, and if they wanted more power, and you know, so what? And then just as I was getting into vaping, I noticed there was an influx of more powerful machines that you can go all the way to 11 watts on the MVP2, and then I jumped and got a VTR because you can go 15 watts on that. In the very early summer, I came to know a device that went all the way to 22 watts. It was I can't remember the name of it, a very large tube mod. And my buddy Dave had a couple of them. Was always rubbing it in because I wanted one so bad. But it was massive, it was heavy, and it went 22 watts. Now, we were talking about a device. It's so prominent now, 200 watts. And I'll never use 200 watts, but the fact that it can do it, you know, the chip in here is the Wismec chip. They also make a DNA 200, which I would imagine has more bells and whistles. I wish I could do a comparison, but no. For less than half the price, I have this, and it'll do me just fine. Okay. This will also take nickel, titanium, and stainless steel on a temperature control. It goes to 600 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly about 300 degrees Celsius, and we're going to be looking at that as well. So we will be taking a tour around it and then come back. I previously recorded an unboxing, so you're going to get what it was like coming out of the box, and then we'll delve in and take a closer look. But let's have a vape first. Wow, it's just sort of spoiling the ending, aren't I? Please hang in there and we will get to the unboxing. Okay, there it is, the Reuleaux, Wismec Reuleaux RX200 box. Kind of just basic information, the contents down below, and that scanning thing the kids like. The color checkoff list. Now, obviously, this was all wrapped in plastic, so I've already removed that. Open up the box. You have the device, which we'll look at in a moment. And you lift out this little foam insert. You have the, what is this? Please be careful not to use batteries with torn casings. That's actually a good warning, as it is a safety hazard. You want to make sure your batteries are in really good condition. It has a basic manual, not a heck of a lot. It's actually bilingual manual. Not a heck of a lot of information, but just enough that you get what you need to know. And then you have inside a USB cord, and that isn't for charging, that's actually for updates, and there's already been one since I got this device, so they're really on the ball there. And that's it. So let's take a closer look at the Wismec Reuleaux RX200. So there you go. There is the Wismec, or Wismec. I keep calling it Wismec. Wismec Reuleaux RX200. This is the front of it. You have your fire button right here, your LCD screen or LED screen, and your up and down buttons that have other functionalities that we'll look at in a moment. And you have here the jack for the USB cable, and it is not for charging, it is for upgrades, and as I mentioned, there's already been one, so it's quite easy to get through. If I turn it around on either side, right here, there, and then here, some battery venting, and on the bottom as well. Take out the back, and if you see here, we have 4 magnets. You have 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, and they actually work really good. So that's your battery cover, and there is your battery compartment. 3 18650 batteries. If we take out the batteries, and you look, you see that the 2 inside, there's 2 and then 1 at the edge. The 2 inside are negative side up, and the final one is a positive side up. They do have these spring contacts, so it makes it really easy to put in the batteries, and of course you have this cord or ribbon, if you will, to pop out the batteries. So you get more life bounty, the long-lasting and try bounty napkins. Buying a car, you get to free auto trade around. You can search for any car, anytime, anywhere. With our comparison tool, you're sure to get the best deal. One of the things I love about it is when you put the batteries back in, it brings you right back to the wattage that you had before you took the batteries out. So that's kudos on them. And then this back plate just snaps back on. The magnets do their job, and there is slight movement in that battery cover, but not much. Now there's something I want to show you at the top. I just have to change the angle. Okay, there you go. You can see the 510 connector. It's brass, but in behind that, I see sort of like a washer, if you will, that goes around that 510 connection. And that will, of course, help if you over drip or if your tank leaks, juice will not go down that. So that sort of gives me a bit more peace of mind. So now we're going to change angles again and take a look at that LCD screen. Okay, we're going to look at the screen now. So I have the power off currently. So if without the power on, if I press the up and down buttons together, it changes the orientation of the screen. And again, with the power off. Okay, press that button 5 times. And there you go, there's your screen. So I have it in power mode, so the center is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, 70.0 watts. There's a little W to the right of that. On the far left hand side is a battery indicator. Just to the right of that is, on the top, is the resistance of your build or coil. And just below that is the voltage needed to attain that 70 watts. If you want to change to temperature control mode, you just hit this 3 times. And now you have temperature control, and on the right hand side at the top it has a little NI, and just below that it has, in this case, it has a C for Celsius. If I press that 3 times, it now, there we go, I'm just checking, it now has a TI for titanium, and hit it 3 more times, and it has SS. Now this is very interesting. 100 degrees Celsius is the lowest it can go. If I press up or down, if I press the down button, it has now switched to Fahrenheit. If I press the up button, because 600 degrees Fahrenheit is the maximum,
it'll switch to Celsius. So that's how you'd go between Celsius and Fahrenheit. While it's on, if I press the up and down button together, you will lock the settings in. There is a stealth mode. I don't use it, so I'm not going to talk about it, but that is the basics of the screen, the usability of the buttons. You see it works fairly well. I'm just going to take that lock off, and 3 clicks puts it back into power mode. Okay, so I took my Mutation V3. It has a nickel coil in it, just a single coil, and some perfectly dry cotton. Set it at 430 degrees Fahrenheit, and here we go. Nothing. A slight wisp, and the screen says temp protect. So it did not fire. Take the cotton out. There is some browning, nothing more than that. So it certainly passed the temp control test. So let's go back upstairs and finish our thoughts on this device.
It has the power, definitely. The temp control works. There is literally 0 ramp up time. Hit the button and get the power that I need. Just really a good device overall. Now, one of the main reasons why I wanted this was the triple 18650 batteries in it. The time that it lasts, it really sort of blew me away. Most of my mods are either single 18650 or they have the built-in battery, and I don't get a lot of time. The last device I get maybe 5-6 hours tops, and then I have to charge it, and it doesn't have pass-through, so it's a real pain in the ass. This device, I put in fresh batteries on December 24th at approximately 6 p.m. and I did not have to take them out and charge them until Boxing Day, the 26th of December, at about 3 p.m. I haven't plugged this into the computer via the USB key with batteries in it. Okay, I'm not a proponent of that. It takes 3 batteries. They should be charged. That's it. I only use the cable for updates, and it's already had an update. You plug it in. You can go, and I'll put a link to their website down below. You can go on there, you find the RX200, and then you can choose whether you want an Apple or a PC update, and you can easily update it via that USB cable. I've never used it as a charging device, so I'm not sure how that works. I don't like to charge batteries on the computer. It's just the way I am. I have a charger for that. Other than that, this thing is, it just, I can't think of a downside. I really cannot think of a downside. For $79, everything that I wanted is there. I'm not a big temperature control freak, but if I decide I want to give the stainless steel a whirl, I have that opportunity. I do want to try some clapped-in coils. I'm nowhere near courageous enough to try to make it or patient enough to make it, but I'll probably buy a couple just to try it out because I've heard so much about it. And then maybe on that I'll use the temperature control. But you saw it worked. I'm honestly trying to think of a thumbs down. I guess the only thing that I can think of is at the top there is a sort of crevice you can see there, and not all devices will fit perfectly flush. But that is just absolutely so minor. It is really amazing. So that's it. The RX200 Reuleaux by Wismec, courtesy of my buddy via Economy E-Cigs, and it really is a great device. Now, don't hang up just yet, because we're going to talk about a juice, and I'm going to fill up this tank. One thing I should have mentioned earlier, but I neglected to, was that this device has a 10-second cutoff. So you hit that fire button for 10 seconds, it'll shut itself down. And actually, you have a timer. Now, I put on my my Delta 2 for the to talk about the juice, but you can see here when I push the button, over. It stops. That's it. So it is a sort of built-in protection. Now, on to the juice. And that was tough for me to do because this juice is so tasty I didn't want to waste it. And before I talk about it, taste is subjective. What you like, I might not. What I like, you might not. We always have to keep that in mind, folks. Um, this particular juice, I've tried it in my Delta 2, which is a 47 ohm coil, 0.47 ohm coil. Pardon me, I vape at about 32 watts, and I've used it in my Velocity Dripper, which is a dual 0.3 ohm coil, and I vape that at about 64 watts. And that's really accurate, 60, not 65, 64. This is a line of juice from Economy e-cigs called Rude Boy. This particular one is called Scrooge, and underneath it says a Scrooge approved Ferrero Rocher. And the best way I can, and I said it yesterday on Facebook, or wrote it on Facebook, is that you have a nice meal, you're waiting for your coffee or tea, and you grab your vape and you get this really elegant and divine Ferrero Rocher vape in this. It's just really, really good. And I don't like chocolate vapes. It is a 50-50 juice. It comes in 0, 3, 6, 12, and 18 milligrams of nicotine. Now, when you order it on the Economy e-cigs website, they only sell 120 milliliter bottles, and I believe it's about $55. So it is a very good deal at that. But they do list some shops up in Canada, and they may be able to sell online as well, where you get 30 milliliter bottles. But trust me, folks, it's well worth the 120 milliliter bottle. And they have other juices, and the one that pops to mind all the time is Original Gangsta. Got to get me some of that. So I have this in my Delta 2, and as I mentioned, I'm vaping this about 33 watts. So here we go. It's not a powerful cloud vape because it is a 50-50 juice, but I'm not a cloud guy anyhow. It is nice on the throat. It's not harsh, and you get that. It's almost, I could say, elegant flavor to it. Really, really tasty juice, and this particular one is Scrooge by Rude Boy by Economy e-cigs. So that's it. The Wismec Reuleaux RX200. I just can't get over it. It is really, really a great machine. Do I recommend it? Hands down. I haven't heard anybody talking about it that didn't like it, so it puts me in good company. Now, I know that there's a lot of videos about it, but this is my take. This is how I do it. That's the way I am. Fantastic, fantastic device. And then it came in with the bottle of the Scrooge, and just went, wow, what a combination. And again, in a tank, in a dripper, of course, in the Velocity, which is an extremely easy deck to build. Wayne, you got to get more in stock. I want another one. But really, really, the flavor pops in there. But you do not lose a hell of a lot going through a tank. Need a vape. And it's funny. Now I had the dripper on before with the Reuleaux RX200. Now I have a tank, and again, no ramp up time. Works perfect. Hit the button, and the power that I want is there. So that's it. I want to thank my Secret Santa. I can't thank that person enough. And at the same time, I want to thank Wayne and Laura for sending me this bottle of Scrooge. I'm really enjoying it. Economy e-cigs. Have them take a look. I'm also going to post down below the Wismec website link as well, so you could see that sort of updates and whatnot and how that works. I can't remember in the video if I mentioned that, so I'll just repeat myself if I did. And that's it. So I want to thank you for dropping by. You know I love having you over. I want to take this time to wish you all the very best in 2016. May all your wishes and dreams come true. And health, happiness to all. Thanks for dropping by. Please stay healthy and happy vaping. Take care, folks.